We got a lot of great stuff to talk about. One thing that I know Brian really wants to talk about is Lego Episode 7 got announced this morning. It got sort of leaked, and then an hour later it became official. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's Star Wars The Force Awakens, but in Lego form.
And that trailer's so good. They did, so it's like they redid the original teaser for Episode 7, which is also the thing Disney Infinity did, but this is so much better than the way Disney Infinity did it. This one was really just charming, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, it looks great. It's interesting that like we are still going to see these standalone Lego games, even though we live in a Lego Dimensions world. So we're still going to see stuff like, obviously, we had Lego Marvel Avengers just came out, and we have this. Brian, we already started the show.
Oh, thanks, man.
Some friends I have.
Beyond.
Welcome to the podcast Beyond.
Beyond.
Yeah, you can't silence the passion. It's that PlayStation passion right there.
Shut up. Awful.
We're talking about Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars.
What? How much did I miss?
It's been an hour. Show's almost over.
I'm 90 years old. My whole life is gone.
No, Marty was making the point that we still see standalone games despite Lego Dimensions. And we were talking about this earlier. It's crazy that there's no Disney stuff in Lego Dimensions at all so far. It seems like they might be just keeping Marvel and Star Wars just totally separate, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I bet there were a lot of meetings about this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is WB Games is publishing this. That's sort of an odd thing because we do still have Disney Interactive, but there are also a ton of Star Wars Legos still because I think Lego they are the most profitable toy maker in the world. Star Wars is one of their most successful licenses. Sure. Actually, I think that is what saved them. There's a Lego documentary on Netflix or something that has some interesting information about them. But like, there was a point in the mid '90s when Lego was like just about to go under.
Yeah.
Like they were doing real badly.
Was it when they weren't like affiliated with giant brands like Star Wars?
Exactly. Yeah. And Star Wars was the first brand they got, and then from there they got, I don't know, Jurassic Park 3 and Spider-Man, and SpongeBob, and then suddenly
Indiana Jones.
But that's what's so interesting is that stuff does predate the EA Star Wars stuff. And that's really interesting because it makes me wonder, we were talking about this today, like maybe that's why they can't be, like if they renegotiate that stuff to put them in Lego Dimensions, maybe that reverts stuff back to EA, or there's certain licensing things that they can't, like they're grandfathered in basically. I don't know, it's a really interesting situation. Like I think that the fact that we still get Lego Star Wars games makes me really happy because I really like that world.
And it's weird because I didn't even think of that as a solution to that puzzle the other day when they were like, hey guys, we have a big announcement. It's two of the biggest brands in the world coming together. Well, I'm like, what are they doing?
They teased it by saying that two of the biggest entertainment brands.
Yeah.
And to me, like Lego isn't really an entertainment brand. They're a toy brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that seemed like kind of I was thinking it was going to be I was thinking it was going to be like a Batman Superman.
I thought Batman.
I thought it might be a Mortal Kombat thing.
Because we didn't know, obviously, when they say WB Interactive, it's not like we know it's going to be Lego. So it's like we were all thinking, WB Montreal, who made Batman Arkham Origins, has been rumored forever to be doing a Justice League game. So we assumed it was that.
We also thought Lego American Sniper.
Yeah, Lego American Sniper.
Lego The Blind Side.
Yeah, you guys looked up their highest grossing films, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, like what we got out of it is probably the best possible scenario we could have possibly gotten. Like there's very few times a year, especially because of what we do with our jobs, where I get like actual surprises. And I was just sitting there last night, and that news came in because it leaked, and I was like, "Holy!"
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
this. We're finally getting the Force Awakens video game. That
You've been wanting that. Like you were griping about how you were thinking about replaying the original trilogy one.
I actually just did. I replayed the original trilogy recently, and then I bought it again on consoles.
Nice.
I was playing it on a handheld.
So one of the things I find weird, this game's coming out in June. The other Star Wars games had the trilogies. Like one was a prequel game, one was the good trilogy game, and then one was a Clone Wars game.
Well, so
but this is just going to have one movie.
Yeah,
no,
and
it's gonna have some bridging the gap stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
and there's also that PlayStation content they announced today. Like there's a good amount of stuff.
Yeah. So the way it worked was they did the original trilogy game, and then they also did a prequels game, and then they combined it as one
complete
big
saga.
game,
Yeah.
which is like honestly. As much as they put into this game that pads out backstory and then also lets you play through, because I already saw a bunch of screens on the PlayStation Store for the first area in the game, which is where Poe Dameron meets with Old Man with the Long Name.
And next on Sinnoh.
Yeah.
Chicken tikka masala or whatever.
Yeah, chicken tikka masala.
Chicken tikka masala, my favorite Star Wars
And
character.
Phasma shows up and shoots people and stuff like that. And John Boyega gets real stressed about
Chef Boyardee's there.
Jeff Boyardee.
Jeff Boyardee.
So obviously you'll get to play through that first scene. You'll get to play through the entire film. They'll add a bunch of backstory stuff. One of the things I saw that was really fascinating was on PlayStation. There's an exclusive level called the Phantom Limb, starring Red Arm C-3PO, which I believe is going to explain the backstory. Because there's that part in the movie where he's like, "Oh, you didn't recognize me. I've got a red arm. Oh, it's such a funny tale." And Han's like, "Get out of the way, you dumb droid."
It's one of my favorite scenes.
I want to kiss my wife.
I love that scene so much because we were totally like that whole scene was a setup for a really corny joke.
Yep. Yeah.
And we were looking at advanced photos and we're like, oh my God, 3PO's got a red arm.
Right.
Let's break it down. Why could he have a red arm? Maybe something bad's happened. This says a lot about the state of the resistance. And it's just like,
no, this is all.
I have a red arm. You didn't recognize me.
Hello. But what I love about it is it further kind of moves that back and forth volley that's been happening between J.J. Abrams and Kojima, where they met a few times, they autographed each other's products and stuff like that. There's a red arm in Phantom Pain on Snake, and then there's the same thing in one of the aliens in Force Awakens. Says Kojima.
Yeah, it's like, all right,
it's great.
This is weird.
So now this is called the Phantom Limb, but back to what I was saying, as much as the story they can pad in the background and all the stuff that they do for Force Awakens, it's never going to compare to the amount of content that was in Lego Star Wars proper, because there are 6 movies worth of stuff in there. And like, look, I don't like the prequels. They're really fun to play as Lego levels. Like, and I don't care.
Totally.
You know, because it's just like I get to fight General Grievous as you know a C-3PO if I want to.
I think that there's easily, like, if you look at how they used to take like old video games, or you know, like look at the Super Star Wars games. You know, if you are like, hey, what's the rest of Cloud City like, and why would you fight dozens of Ugnaughts? I don't know, but you know what? Let's do it. Let's beat up some Ugnaughts. Let's have a whole side mission where you've got to collect all of 3PO's limbs as Chewie or something.
Goldfarb and I were just joking about that the other day, about how the Lego games will take a scene that's like half a second in the movie and turn it into a whole stage.
Lego Marvel's Avengers did that so much.
Like Lego Jurassic World.
Like a quick escape sequence that you spend 2 hours like.
Well, the scene in Jurassic Park where they're like, shoot her! They turned it into an entire level on how to like turn on that dinosaur paddock or whatever. You have to find a key and all this stuff.
No, I love that. It's great. So if they do that with Force Awakens, I'm totally cool with it. If we get, we're gonna get to run around Maz Kanata's castle. We're gonna get
Maz Kanata.
Yeah, we're gonna get to go inside. There's the Hapabore, that big disgusting pig animal that Finn drinks his water. And
the one
a big shot of its butthole. You can go to see an IMAX movie. It looks right up the animal's ass. right at a huge.
But so that's the thing. Like, I mean,
butt crack.
We just got Lego Marvel's Avengers right, like a week ago. So this definitely feels too soon for something like this. But on the flip side, like, most of the fun in those games is not so much beating the levels, but unlocking all the characters. And that game starts to get into some really deep cut Marvel characters that I don't care about, like Squirrel Girls, when you start to lose me. But for some reason, those laws don't apply to me when you're like, hey, you unlock the Hask Trio. They're the Wolf Boys from Maz Kanata's
3 werewolves with little pants? Oh, boy.
I mean, my weird thing is, like, it does feel too soon compared to Lego Marvel, especially because they're doing it in summer instead of in fall like they normally do. But it's also like, man, I want that game right now. Like, while I'm still in like and like it'll be around the Blu-ray release hopefully. But like,
so perfect. That's gonna sell like hotcakes for Christmas. Like,
but man, I wish I could play it now.
Also, now you can finally play as, who's that man you love, Count Zubio's?
Constable Zubio.
Constable Zubio's in it. Captain Nathano's going to be in it. That snitch from the Maz Kanata's castle. That lady who's dressed like a court jester.
But was it? I'm going to sit here trying to think about it. Bazine Natal. Which is cool.
Snitch Mitchins is her name.
There's that. There's that robot that looks like an old microphone that starts whistling to itself.
So I actually like to devil's advocate what I just said. I actually don't think it's too soon to the game we just got announced last week, because I, as a guy who plays and loves all of the Lego games, or for the most part, I realize that the ones that I like the most are the ones where I'm a fan of the source material first. I'm not big on Pirates of the Caribbean or The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings in general, but I bought all those games because I'm like, I love Lego games. And to me, like, the hook of unlocking characters that I don't like, they were like, oh, you unlocked like the 70th pirate in this movie. I'm like, I don't know this guy.
You unlocked the lady from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I don't care about that. But when you tell me I unlocked, like Finn in like his snow jacket or whatever, I'm like, cool.
LOS.
Well, that's like the big thing about Lego Dimensions. It's like, it's as much the things you care about you're gonna like when you get to Ninjago.
Like in Lego Dimensions, I love the Portal levels and the Simpson levels, and then I got the Ninjago and Doctor Who, and I'm just like, you've lost me.
I'm also like really geeking out because I have Rey's Speeder, the Lego kit, and my wife got me the new Millennium Falcon with like old Han and Chewbacca, and like it's just an awesome build. So I have a Lego Millennium Falcon in my apartment now. So I was just like geeking out looking at it last night as that trailer came in.
So I had this
a good time.
This weird thing happened to me, and this is like a real stupid problem to have. I was kind of building up a Lego Star Wars collection. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get that Jabba's Palace. I got that stupid disposable income. I'll have a Lego room someday. And then someday I'll have all these cool kids to give to cool toys to give to my hypothetical children, you know, and then get mad at them for losing pieces or whatever.
Yep.
But a friend of mine was moving, and she's like...
very Will Ferrell at the end of the Lego movie thing.
very hardcore collector, has like so much of the Lego sets. And she was like, hey, so I'm moving. I don't have anywhere to put these. You got a house. You got room for these. Do you want these like Star Wars Lego sets? And you can just play with them, do whatever you want, you know, put them together. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And she shows up with like just boxes of like the Collector's Series R2-D2, the big ass X-Wing, the Rancor pit, the Falcon, just like tons and tons of Star Wars Legos.
I'm so jealous of that Rancor pit and the Jabba's Palace are my two like most sought after kits.
They're pretty cool, but they're all half assembled in like bags. And it's that feeling of like, are these assembled or are they? Where do I start here?
Yeah. How
and
do
it
I
just became overwhelming. And I was like, I have to assemble IKEA furniture. Like I have to put my actual adult house together before I can start populating it with Star Wars ships.
That sounds like an absolute nightmare.
I put all that stuff in a box, and it gives me this weird, like, you know when they're like, there's that old really bad way of parenting kids. If you catch them smoking cigarettes, you're like, all right, time to smoke the whole pack, and then they throw up.
Yeah.
It's basically that with Lego. So I go to Toys R Us or whatever, and I go to the Lego section. I'm like, ooh, I like that one. I don't want it. I don't want that.
I love the idea that you just throw up in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah, I was crying and getting twitching.
So every week on Max and I's other show up at noon, we bring toys into the studio and put them down on the set. And sorry for the tangent, but I was walking into the studio here at IGN with Rey's Speeder, the Lego kit, and it fell out of my hand and hit the floor, and 11 pieces flew off of it. And I picked them all up, and I looked at it like, I got to tear the whole thing down and start back up from the beginning. Because it's like I don't know how to process. I don't know how to this part that was step 9 out of 60, and it's over here now, and I don't it doesn't work. Your brain doesn't work that way. Yeah. So yeah, build furniture instead. Yep. But yeah, this game looks awesome. I'm super excited about it. And when's it out?
June. End of June. After E3.
Yep.
Right after E3.
That sounds like a really good summer game.
Yes.
Totally cute little game to play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to like come back right after E3 and just play through The Force Awakens. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, we should play some co-op.
We can do
I'm
that.
down.